the just shall live by faith. And suddenly, the concept burst upon his mind that what this passage was teaching in Romans was that it was discussing the righteousness of God, not that righteousness by which God himself is righteous, but it was describing the righteousness of God that God provides for you and for me graciously, freely, to anyone who puts their trust in Christ. Anyone who puts their trust in Christ receives the covering and the cloak of the righteousness of Christ. And Luther said, it broke into my mind, and I realized for the first time that my justification, that my station before God is established not on the basis of my own naked righteousness, which will always fall short of the demands of God, but it rests solely and completely on the righteousness of Jesus Christ, which I must hold on to by trusting faith. He said, and when I understood that for the first time in my life, I understood the gospel, and I looked and beheld the doors of paradise swung open, and I walked through. And it's like Luther said to the world from that day forward, to popes and to councils, to diets and to kings, the just shall live by faith, justification by faith alone, if God is holy and I am not, is the article upon which the church stands or falls, and I negotiate it with no one because it's the gospel. Is that crazy? Ladies and gentlemen, if that's crazy, I pray that God would send an army of insane people like that into this world, that the gospel may not be eclipsed, that we might understand that in the presence of a holy God, that how we who are unjust may be justified is by the fact that God in his holiness, without negotiating his holiness, has offered us the holiness of his Son as a covering for our sin, that whoever believes on him should not perish, but have everlasting life. That is the gospel for which Luther was prepared to die. For the